All right, all right. Welcome to Life on Wax. It's your boy Ted Jr. Right here with my special guest today, Miss Shonte Harmon-Young. Shonte, say what's up to everybody that's listening and watching.
What's up, America? I'm here.
Man, she's here, and we had a little bit of a bumpy road last week, but no more technical difficulties. We figured it out, and Shonte didn't fully cancel me for
Oh my goodness, I wouldn't do you like that.
messing up her debut on Life on Wax, and so we're back. We're back, and so everybody that watches the show and listens to the show, you know that I'm always bringing people on the show who I think are especially dope. So
Thank you.
exactly. So the people that come on the show, I call them local legends.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. And the idea of local legends is it's not just a title; it's a challenge. And that challenge is to be legendary in all that you're doing and continue that, and set that legacy for yourself and for whomever is following you.
Thank
and
you.
I know that Shonte is one of those people who is doing and will continue to do that kind of thing.
Aww.
Yeah.
I'm so privileged right now. I'm just grinning. Look at me, my people.
So Shonte is here, and like every guest we have on the show, I asked them to give me 5 songs. Yep, that's 5 songs from their history of music. 5 songs that inspire, motivate, or have a special place in their lives. And Shonte about cuss me out, y'all.
Everybody know I cuss a lot. I love the Lord.
Because she wanted to give me 7 Prince songs. And I said, I mean, come on, Shonte.
Maybe not 7. 5 Prince songs and 4 possibles.
Yeah. So she gave me a playlist, and it's definitely a great list of songs. And we're gonna go over those songs. We're gonna also just talk a bit with Shonte about her life, and we're gonna get to know her a bit. So as we gonna get started, man, want to once again thank Shonte for being on. Make sure you like and share this particular live. Also, you can go on on Spotify, and you'll be able to see and hear this interview in about a week on Spotify. So let's get going, Shonte.
All right, let's move on.
So the first song that I had in your playlist is a song by an artist that is a legend. This brother has been a star. I'll say a star
since for as long as we've been alive.
For as long as we've been alive. Well, as long as we've been alive. He been around a long time. Stevie Wonder. Yeah. Now Stevie Wonder has been on this show. He's probably the artist that's been on the show the most over the last 2 seasons. Easy. I think he's even been chosen like 3 times this season, which is crazy. So tell us why we have Stevie Wonder, and even more so why we have this particular song, "I Wish," on the playlist.
Well, the Stevie Wonder part, I guess, is a no-brainer. If I were to pick 3 artists that had to be in concert, it'd be Bob Marley, Prince, and Stevie Wonder. Not necessarily in that order, but I have loved Stevie Wonder my whole life. And my brothers used to talk about when he came to Busch Stadium in the 80s, and he played this concert, and he played until like 3, 4 in the morning. And I'm like so mad because Stevie Wonder never came back to St. Louis, had during that time in my adult life. So when he decided to do the Songs in the Key of Life tour, me and my friend Kristen, we said we go see this tour. So the first leg of the tour didn't include St. Louis. We drove to Chicago and saw a concert. And then when he announced the next leg would be in St. Louis, we watched it. We came and got tickets to St. Louis too. And it no matter, and it's the same set of songs, but no matter what he does and how he sings, it's always something different. And his whole life is about love and uplifting people and being positive and being something in this world. And I think that's what makes him so prolific, is the fact that his songs resonate with anybody where you are. And I wish, oh my God, like it's so many Stevie Wonder songs I like, but that one is reminiscent of, you remember how we used to grow up when we was outside till the street lights came on, and our mama beat us at church because we spent our money on candy. You know, those are things that's our life. I mean, I don't know about these new children growing up. I tried to make my kids grow up like that, but in growing up, he verbalized our upbringing and how you wish those days would come back. And I kind of do too. And I think that this COVID-19 is making our days come back like that.
Nah, I can agree with that wholeheartedly. This situation we're in now is definitely making us get back to the way things kind of used to be.
So our families being together and constantly together, and our kids, you know, spending more time with our kids, it's important.
I tell you, when Stevie did that Songs of Kid Life, he changed things for a whole lot of folks.
He did, and I tried to pick. I mean, like Songs of the Kid, like As is one of my favorites, and so I just really, it's a hard choice. Only 5 songs. It's hard.
Yeah, only 5. You know, we only have a certain amount of time on the show. So let's listen a little bit to I Wish, Stevie Wonder. This is Life on Wacky Ted Jr. with my special guest, Miss Shonte Harmon-Young. Man, I tell you one thing about Stevie boy, that instrumentation.
Full band. If you saw that Songs of the Kid Life tour, full band, full horn section, multiple guitar sections, more than one drum section, like full band. Him and Prince, full band. It's music.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I think I want to say that's the I got an album. It was a double album. I think it was a live.
Mm-hmm.
Stevie Wonder live, and it was most of the songs were from this tour.
Yep.
Oh man, he did Ribbon in the Sky on there, and it was literally like 2 minutes long. It was literally 10 minutes long, and 6 of the minutes was him just kind of playing with the band and the audience.
Yeah, and he's got this cool instrument that he was playing with. This is kind of a one that he helped invent or work with, kind of like a cross between a guitar and a piano. And he was playing this instrument, and oh my God, I mean, he is, when they say musical genius, they're not playing. When they,
it's funny. I actually just watched a documentary called in the Shadows of Motown or something like that. Something like In the Shadows of Motown, and it was about the Funk Brothers. Who were the band that played on all of those. And one of the guys was like, he was the one that kind of taught Stevie about piano. And he said Stevie was probably, you know, 10 or however old he was. He was a young kid, and he was teaching them how to like basics on piano. And he said Stevie was better than him in like 2 weeks.
That's what happens when you're gifted, when it's your talent. Like, I've always wanted to sing. I can't sing a lick. A couple cocktails, I think I'm Aretha Franklin. But when you have a gift,
well,
it's so easy to pick up on it. It is.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're not gonna ask you to sing or anything right now. You can have
a couple cocktails.
You can have your drink, but we're not gonna do Aretha like that on this show.
Please, I wouldn't even do her like that.
So the song is called I Wish. What's one thing that's real specific that you wish would come back to now, just in our society?
Critical thinking. Critical thinking. I think that the internet, social media has allowed for misinformation and ignorance to just flood the minds of people whose minds may not have been the most stable to begin with. And one of the things that I've been taught since high school, and I teach my kids, and I tell people, that you have to think critically. You have to ask yourself, is what I just heard, does that make sense? And if it doesn't make sense, how do we make it make sense? Rather than because I like that person or because that person said it is gospel. And this is what's creating the society that we have, is a level of misinformation flooding into your mind, and not, at no point are people thinking, that don't make sense. Let me make it make sense. And so if anything, critical thinking will bring back compassion. Critical thinking will bring back love, empathy, all of those things, because the things that happen don't make sense. And if you can't think critically and say, that doesn't make sense, and let me see why it doesn't make sense, then you don't have compassion for people, you don't have empathy for people, and you tend not to love people. So critical thinking.
Man, I did not expect that to be the thing come back, but that fits so well.
These mindless folks drinking bleach. Go ahead, come on now. Come on. Your president said drink bleach. I'm sorry. My bad.
Who president? I'm sorry. Yeah, you know what?
Everyone says Obama. I'm just saying.
See, you must be already must be a can of wine you got over there, huh?
No, that's just me on a Saturday.
So Stevie Wonder, I wish, really looking at history and the way things used to be, and thinking about the way things are now. You're talking about critical thinking being a key piece that's missing in a lot of cases. And that's one thing. And with that missing, it's affected our ability to really heal and help and love and be compassionate and really understand other people's situations. I think. Do you think in this time now with what's going on, you think some of that's coming back along with people like being outside and people kind of engaging? You think some of it's coming back, or you think we're far away from getting back to that?
Here's what I hope. I don't know what to think right now. Here's what I hope. Okay. I hope that in this time we are going back to thinking and going back to reading more and spending time doing things that are productive. Do I think it's happening? I really don't. I just think we are so at a point where we're so divided, and people are going to think what they think, believe what they believe, because social media and internet and all of this has all of these ignorant folks and bots and all these, all this information affirming how they feel, even though it doesn't make sense. So I don't think, and now that we're at home, we really on the internet, TikToking and everything else. And I just think it's creating that more divide. What I hope is that while we're here and home with our children, that we are teaching them to be active in the political process or active in the community process, that we are becoming more active in the community process. One of the things that we haven't really addressed, and it's really been hurting my heart and heavy on my heart, is the unhoused during this time. And so what are we doing with them? They can't. You got your social distancing, you can't stay here, you have all these things. So what's happening? And so, we are able to, my kids and I, we're helping, to feed them and do that kind of stuff. But I hope that that's what we're doing with our time, and other than TikTok. But that's what we're doing with our time. We're focusing on how to make our communities better and how we can do that in this time. But do I think? Forgive me. I have no faith in these folk who are already in that space.
Got it.
I just don't think that I pray that their children, think differently and be different. But the people who are already in that space, it's really hard for them to come out of. It'll take them to experience something to maybe now say, oh, okay, and hopefully this situation will, when you think you're in jail or in slavery or in prison or whatever the hell you call being in a house, acting as though this is the worst thing in life when you enslave a whole group of people. But let me be quiet.
Well, one thing that is something that I saw, we're gonna get back to your playlist. One thing I saw in your playlist, at least with these first two artists, and throughout your playlist, that you definitely had legends who love in your playlist. The next person I had here is none other than the greatest, really, brother Bob Marley.
Y'all see that, America?
Oh, okay. I didn't even notice it. Yeah.
My friend Chris McCaleb, who I went to the Stevie Wonder concert with, I admired that on his wall, and he gave it to me for my birthday. That's love. That's love.
Wow. So Bob Marley and the Wailers, what this particular song, Three Little Birds, we definitely had it on the show before, but it was years ago. So it was I was happy to have it back on the on the playlist. So what made this song come onto your playlist?
This song makes me happy. I ain't even gonna lie. I've been a Bob Marley fan forever, and the Wailers. And I love reggae music. I'm not even gonna lie, but I'm a lyricist. I like songs that have lyrics that have meaning and that uplift and make you feel something, make you think something. This particular song has always touched my heart because, in the depths of your despair, I'm getting emotional. He's saying, don't worry, it's gonna be all right, and as long as you wake up in the morning and as long as the sun rises and you in it, it's gonna be all right. I sang this song to my children when they were in my womb and when they were growing up. So this song is like their song. They know when that song comes, my mom used to sing that to me because I always want them to know that no matter what is that? It was a movie that said everything's going to be okay in the end, and if it's not all right, it's not the end. And so that's what that song says to me, is that it's going to be all right. We just got to keep moving. We got to keep, one foot in front of the other every day.
So when was the last, maybe not the last time, but when was a major time in your life where you had to remind yourself that everything's going to be all right? Not like right now during this time, but before now, what was a major point where you said things are going bad, things are going down, but everything's gonna be all right? And had to remind yourself of
that. Actually, it was quite recently. My son has had a struggle with mental illness and depression, actually, and anxiety. And it was coming to a point where he was just so lost, and so you trying to make me cry for real. and just in a place that, how could you feel this way when your life is so great, but you can't, as someone, and I struggle with anxiety and depression, so I saw what was going on with him. And so when that time came where we had to, try to do something about it, and it would take him to a doctor, and that was, I had to sing it to him and me, because we had to, get through this, because every day the sun rises is another shot every day. And so you just got to make it to the next sunrise. And as I tell him, let me try not to cry. As I tell him, sometimes it's second by second, and sometimes it's minute by minute.
Yeah.
You get through those minutes, you might get to the hour, and then you get to the day, and then you get to the month, and so that's where that song, really means something. And I'm grateful that I gave him that song, and I'm grateful, that it's my song. So
awesome that he's able to pull to that song himself, and you're able to also pull it for yourself, also give it to him again.
Yeah. We were actually talking about it when you had asked me to do it, and we go hiking. There's some woods out here, so
I've seen the pictures.
My black self going hiking. So we actually went hiking, and we were talking about it, and that actually was a song that he was like, yeah, that's the best song for you. So yeah, that makes me feel good that that's in him like that.
Well, let's take a second. Let's just listen to a bit of Three Little Birds with Bob Marley and the Wailers. We're on Life on Wax with Ted Jr. Of course, my guest is Shonte Harmon-Young. We'll be right back with her next song on her playlist.
Straight out of Moline, bikes and skateboards, trying to get some ice cream. Yes.
That's what I was waiting for. This next song. So everyone is listening and watching. I said, Shonte, send me 5 songs, and she said, okay. And it sometimes happens that folks send me a song from YouTube. And I said, okay, well, let me check it out. And it's these three little boys riding, look like in the back of
a drop top Sebring.
And I'm like, wait a minute, why these 3 little boys look familiar? So tell us about these three young men in this.
See what had happened was.
And do they know that you put this song on this playlist?
Oh my God. Okay, I did ask permission. Let me first of all say I did ask for permission because actually, my sons are rappers. They actually have they do music that I don't really share, but it's good because they be cussing and stuff. So they are like actually very, very good. My one son is got the song that he wrote, during his struggles called Introverted Extroverted. Drops May 1st. Let me shamelessly plug that. Anyway,
I just about that.
So what happened, I was sick. It was right after the tornado had happened, it's tore through Mulling Acres. I was an alderwoman for, oh my God, 12 years, I think, 12 years, president of the Board of Aldermen. And the tornado had just ripped through, the area. And
so real quick before you go further, what years were you alderwoman?
I was actually the treasurer from like 2004 to 2006. And then in 2006, I was elected to the Board of Aldermen, and I served until 2017 when I moved to Kirkwood, and I resigned when I moved to Kirkwood.
Okay.
So during that time, I was president of the Board of Aldermen, and it was just really important to me as a community to control your environment. And that's the only reason I was elected. I'm not a politician. I don't really care about politics. I love the politics of helping people. I don't like the elections and all the stuff that comes with it. But we were able to help, so many people. So when this tornado came through, our boys were like 11, 12 years old. And then we realized at their birthday party, they actually rap. And I'm like, what y'all rapping? I didn't even know. So, we have the summer youth program. And so we always did activities in the summer youth program. And they would, do their little rapping thing. But then the tornado happened. I had gotten really sick from respiratory issues. So I'm in the bed and I'm laying down. And they came home one day like, Mama, look what we did. They went to the flea market. Not the nice flea market, but the little raggedy flea market that used to be over in Marley where the tower is. They went to the flea market, took their little $10 and dropped this track. And I said, because I am head cheerleader of all things good and righteous, I said, we shooting a video. So I got out of my sick bed, called my husband, he came home from work, and we shot this video. And I love this song because it was so wholesome. It was so, hip hop has changed. It's about having sex and getting money. They was talking about getting ice cream, cookie cakes, and going to the park to play basketball. And I thought, this is the type of rap or hip hop or just when we get our kids, we want to really encourage them. We want to help them find their gifts and talents and to be a part of that and encourage them to just go out and not be afraid, to do that. And when they did this, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. So this is my jam, y'all.
It's called
No Evil.
No Evil.
Young Stars, TYS in the building. Check them out.
Awesome. So that was on the time where you were in Moline Acres.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like being like local leadership there in Moline?
It's challenging. Again, I was not interested in being in politics. The person who was in office pissed me off. And I said, this ain't rocket science. If it were rocket scientists will be doing it, and if you keep tripping with me, I'm gonna take your job. 100%, honestly, God, that's how it happened. So I took his job. And the hard part about being in like a small municipality is that folks think that as soon as some Black people come in and take it over, it's just gonna go to pot. So then you have this whole white flight. And with white flight, you have tax dollars, tax base, you have funding that's, kind of leaving with it, and the property values start changing. So it is challenging to be able to effectively run a government, to help people, to have a good police department on the budget that dwindles every single year. Businesses leave, and so that was the biggest challenge. It was always my intent to be proud of where I'm from, have my kids be proud of where they're from. And, so I always tell people that I'm from the phenomenal city of Moline Acres. I want you to know that I know that you know that I know that we are from the phenomenal city of Moline Acres. So, people used to introduce me and they used to say it. And I used to make them say it, because that's how you have to be. And then you have to also, in leadership, be a leader. I say this all the time. There are but two types of people in this world, Ted, those who want to be and those who want to do. And rarely is that the same person. So if you're so busy trying to be, then you're really not doing anything, because you're trying to be something. You're trying to show up and get your picture taken and say, oh, I know this person or I know that person. And that has nothing to do with the day-to-day part of running a city, which is ensuring that your people have access to the things that you can. So like Joan can call somebody and say, and ask for something, can't get it, but Alderwoman Young can call somebody and get that. And so that's the part I think in leadership and in politics that we forget, that we are serving people and people need us. And so that was the greatest part of being there. I would have probably still been there had I not, needed to get my children in a better school district. But that was the best part about it.
So is there someone, or well, you don't have to get too but how do you handle, and who are you, how do you handle the B people, you being a person that is a do person, and is there anybody in particular that you've had to deal with that was definitely a B person in that sense?
I've worked with B people too. So it's difficult. I remind them of those things. The one thing I don't do is that I don't spend a lot of time judging people. You just don't know, where they are or what they are. What I also don't do is I don't support anybody I don't believe in. I don't take money from people. I do consulting. I've managed campaigns. I've done all these things, but if I don't believe in you, I don't deal with you. And generally, if you're trying to be, I kind of don't believe in you. So how I handle them is I say, good luck. Oh, isn't that wonderful? And then I remind them, as I do just in life, not necessarily in politics, that which person do you want to be in this situation? Like, what are you trying to do? When I first decided to get into politics, two very cool people taught me two very great things. One is Luther Boykins. He was a really big city politician. Well, he wasn't a politician. He was like more of a consultant. And he said to me, Shonte, if you ever do this, always be who you're going to be out front. Because the first time that you lie, you will always be a liar. Right. The first time you steal, you will always be a thief. So however you want to present yourself in a situation, present yourself as authentically as you can, and then continue to be that. And that's just me. And that's why I cuss a little bit. Sometimes I rub people the wrong way, but I'm always me. You don't get somebody different. And when you get the wannabes, you'll always get somebody different, depending on what situation they are and all that. And Tim Person told me that it's never the person standing in the spotlight. It's always that person to the left or to the right of him in the spotlight who has the ultimate power. Hence why I never had the need to be out front, because that's not where the power lies. And so I don't want to be. I want to do. And to have ultimate power, you can't be standing in there cheesing and doing all this, because while you're doing all this, there's work that needs to be done. And so, I don't have nothing against them. I won't support them. That's just me. That's just me.
Well, that's good. That's good. I feel very similarly about supporting and working for folks that I don't believe in. I feel very similarly about that.
Me too. Yeah.
But your thoughts about being and doing and recognizing that the person maybe that's out front isn't necessarily the person with the power. That's really powerful advice, or a powerful statement. Because that's hopefully that changes some people's minds when they feel like they should be out front. They want to be out front,
and hopefully it does. Because when you call that person who's out front, and this is just regular, you call somebody out front, you know what they do? They direct you to their assistant. They direct you to their chief of something. They direct you to somebody that ain't them. So that in and of itself should tell you that that person may be standing there smiling, but they don't know the ins and outs of exactly what you need. And so you have to call the person who's going to get it done, not the person that you see on TV. You need the person who's going to get it done. And sometimes, most often, that's not that person.
Man, well, you know who is that person? Prince.
America. I'm sorry.
No. Hey. Shonte is the absolute biggest Prince fan that I have ever known.
Ever.
Don't
make me take you to my living room. I have a shrine.
Oh.
I've had one since I was 12. I got the Right On magazine poster still.
What put you on to Prince?
I was 11 years old and I was in love with Michael Jackson. It's got you. And my daddy took me to see Purple Rain. And y'all don't even like light-skinned dudes, right? So it was something. Like, again, I'm someone who likes lyrics. And because the acting is questionable in all of his movies. So,
you know what? Let's pause for a second. I'm glad you could say that.
Oh no, I'm honest about it.
See, that helps me understand you're not just one of those Prince fans that's saying everything he's ever done is amazing.
No,
I'm glad you made the point that the acting in the movie was
questionable at best.
Okay. Your words, not mine.
Terrible at worst. And Under the Cherry Moon wasn't no better. And Graffiti Bridge was even worse. But I digress. The music was phenomenal. Let me just say that. And I don't know what it was. And I wasn't in love with like Prince, that light-skinned dude with the curly hair and the lace. It wasn't that. It was just his ability to just put his whole heart in music. I love 1999. Like, it was a cool album and I liked it. But then Purple Rain like made me see the person and then the artist, which got me interested. And then after that, when he did Around the World in a Day, I was like, oh my God, he got something to say. And then, so now, like, I bought all of his stuff. Some of it I don't like, but by and large, I do, because he touches on everything. He touches on sex, on love, on God, on politics. Being a Jehovah's Witness, when he became a Jehovah's Witness, he still talked about politics. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with the not voting part, but he still touched on the plight of America. He did a whole fundraiser in Baltimore for Freddie Gray and released the song for him. So the thing that makes me love him is that he embodies, like, music, first of all, prolific, like Stevie Wonder, in terms of his love and the need to have music, but also his fearlessness to walk away from a label, to produce musicology, where he did it independently, had this whole concert and had this whole tour. And off of his musicology album, they had to change the Billboard rules, because you get a free CD when you go to the concert for $75. I was there. And it shot his album up the Billboard charts because it was sold. And so the concerts were selling out. And so it made him change. He changed the rules. He made $8 off that CD where people make 25 cents.
Right.
And so he changed. He was ever evolving, and in his root was love. It was love, whether it was sexual love, whether it was human love, whether it was love for your fellow man. It's always love for one another. That's what he calls it.
Yeah, I love Prince. I definitely wasn't of the fan, or that a lot of people are. But once I learned about kind of his philanthropy.
Oh my God, that he never told people about.
He never told anybody about. I got a quick story before we listen to Dear Mr. Man. I lived in Louisville, Kentucky for a lot of years. And Louisville has it's like the first black library, public library in Louisville. And we see a Prince cup. And it was gonna stop. It was gonna go defunct.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have the money to keep it going. It was right in the heart of the hood, right in like the projects. And he paid, wrote, they actually have the check. he wrote a check, his own money or whatever, to keep the library open. And this was years and years and years ago. And I said, "What, Prince? This little library in Louisville, Kentucky, he paid for it to stay open."
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like in Harlem, there was a school. He paid money for it, and then every time his whole thing was, "Don't tell people I did that."
Right.
It separates the wannabes from the wanna-dos. And he did that. He paid for Lawrence Hill. He paid Lawrence Hill's bills while she was in prison. He would find issues, or he reads, and he's finding issues, like the smallest issue, and he would take care of it. He'll call his people, "Hey, go handle that." And Van Jones talked about that after he died, because he became he worked for Prince in doing those philanthropic things, and he talked about that. And the only thing you could not do was say Prince paid for it. And so, what does that say about the human that he is? To not be, "Look at me, look at me, look at me." He ain't that dude. He's like, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what God put you on this earth to do, is to serve.
It's always better for people to tell stories about you than for you to just have to tell them about yourself.
There it is. Look at me. But go ahead.
Dear Mr. Man, why we'll listen to the song a little bit, then we'll figure out why you put this song on your playlist. Okay. We are in the Prince section of your playlist. Dang. So we'll be right back. This is your boy Ted Jr., Life on Wax, and with my guest Shonte Harmon-Young.
He goes on the part during the bridge part where he says, "Ain't no sense in voting same soul with a different name." I don't agree with that, America. But what he said after that we might not be in the back of the bus, but it sure feel just the same. Ain't nothing fair about welfare. Ain't no assistance in AIDS, and ain't nothing affirmative about your actions until the people get paid. What?
Come on, bro.
What? I mean, you can't do nothing but be like.
So do those sentiments, do they echo how you feel right now?
100% how I feel. Like I said, as a Jehovah's Witness, they don't vote. I get it. But he was very active in politics, which I find very interesting, in the political process. So that's exactly how I feel, because, the situation with welfare, I've always spoke about this, is that it is nothing fair about it. Because if you wanted this welfare system to actually work, you would have it in stages. If you made this much money, you got this much help. And then if you made this much money, that help would taper down all the way until you got to where you wanted to be. But that's not how the welfare system is set up.
Right.
Once you hit that one base, then you get nothing. But you still don't make enough to have your babies be cared for properly. You don't make enough to have food in your house. And so it's not fair. It's really, I don't think it's set up to be fair. And we already know ain't nothing affirmative about their actions. I work in diversity, equity, inclusion for St. Louis County government. And when you have to pass legislation to ensure that African Americans get projects in St. Louis County, you got to make that a law. That says everything about what affirmative action is or is not. And
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, and so that's a really big thing for me, because we really have to figure out a way to be structured that it allows for everyone to have a fair shake, equality, and not handouts, not any of those things, but equality. And it has been made very clear that the intent is not for us to be equal. And so that makes it incumbent upon us to start building our own communities in a way that we are not reliant on others, but then we have to rely on each other, and that's a huge hurdle we have to overcome with a slave mentality of, I don't want you to get ahead because then I'm not gonna get ahead, and we really got to work on that. So
when you talk about Prince, one thing that you talked about is how the one thing you don't agree with, other than his movies, is that he didn't vote. How important do you feel like voting is? Because today a lot of people will say it's not effective.
Well, it's not effective because we're not using it in the way that we should. And what why would somebody want to take something from you if it don't work? That's the question. And so if you are fighting so hard to deny people the right to vote, to deny felons the right to vote, to deny people who may have moved, or homeless folk, or anybody, if you are going through such great lengths to deny someone the right to vote, why is that? And why don't we recognize that there is power in that? And it behooves me. Because when in 2008, when Obama was being elected, the lines were down the street, around the corner. I'd never seen anything like that, and probably never will in my lifetime. To see a great deal of people come together and make that happen, and he was just a dude from the Chi. You know, like 2 years before that, nobody knew who he was. You know, a dude from the Chi, and now he's president. That in and of itself should show you the power that you have, and not just in the presidential election. My biggest problem with folks is they don't vote for their mayors and their aldermen, and those are the people who are going to, or your state rep or your senator. Those are the people who have a direct impact on your life, on your property, on everything that happens, on the policing and the police brutality situations that you have, your prosecuting attorneys, your county executives. Those are the people who impact your life directly. And that you absolutely, you can talk about the president and the electoral college all you want to, but those right there are numbers that you absolutely can control. And if you don't do that, what you're saying is it's okay for you to do whatever the hell you want to do to me. And I tell people, you don't bitch at me. I was there on election day. And so you can't, very well. And people say, I have a right. I have freedom of speech. I can say what I want to say. Yeah, you can say that. And then you can suffer the consequences of your actions or inactions, which is what it is. And that's what makes it important, because that's your voice. That's your only voice in how things are run. So you can't bitch about, I'm sorry, I'm cussing on your show. You can't fuss about how things are run if you haven't had a hand in it. And so, you know, it is what it is. And like, I don't argue back and forth about people who don't vote. What I do say is that when you call my phone politically, I'm going to ask you.
Did you?
I'm going to ask you. I'm not going to help you, but I'm sure going to ask you.
Yeah. If only so you can hear yourself say that you didn't. Because you need to hear yourself.
Now you need me.
So we get into the last song in the playlist. And it's we're still in the Prince wing of this playlist. And the next song is Cream.
Let me, first of all, before you do that, let me shout out my daughter, who was song that I was going to do. Her name is Denisha. She has this phenomenal CD you can download on YouTube. But she also has this song, Relax Your Mind. And the song that you're talking about now is kind of the same, along the same lines for me, because that song that you're about to play is a song of reminding yourself who you are. So you want me to talk about the title of the song?
Yeah,
okay, so it's Cream. And so, like, when you listen to the song and you hear it at first, you think it's some sexual, ooh, we finna do it song. But that's not what it is, because the background to the song is that, you know, Prince had, I guess, was washed up in terms of the industry and all of that. And he was reinventing himself and coming out with NPG. And so now he's about to do some different stuff. And he wrote this song to himself about how great he is and how wonderful. Sometimes you got to speak over yourself. You know what I'm saying? And when you speak over yourself, then if you are not confident in who you are, then nobody's going to buy into what it is that you have. And her song is the same way. You have to free yourself from yourself. You know, sometimes you got to speak over all of that negativity and say, hey, I'm the shiznit. What's up?
That's right.
That's what that song do for me.
Well, we're gonna check out Cream by Prince, none other than the great.
My baby.
Your baby.
My baby.
And what's your daughter's name? The daughter's name?
Denisha. Daneisha. Download her stuff. You would love it. You are going to love it. You won't be disappointed.
It's Life on Wax with Ted Jr. with my guest Shonte Harmon-Young. When's the last time you had to tell yourself that?
Every day. every day is a day I have to remind myself, you know,
Yeah.
especially sitting in here in the house. I'm gonna tell you, I get up every day and I comb my hair and I take a bath, and I am wearing a Prince work from home shirt of the day. I don't know if you pay attention to that. So I posted on Facebook my today's work from home Prince shirt, and I haven't repeated yet. How long we been home since the end of March?
As it's literally ridiculous.
Okay, I'm down to my last week, y'all.
I just want to say for everyone listening, it's ridiculous that there has not been a repeat. Now I haven't seen every day, but I definitely have seen multiple days, and I don't have any kind of shirt. I don't think I got that many shirts.
You know what? You should see my Obama collection and my Bob Marley collection. I have one of those too.
Oh man!
So I'm down to my last week, y'all. So if y'all see some cute, cool Prince shirts, shoot me a link to it, and or I don't buy any Prince shirt now. Mm-hmm. Shoot me a link. If it speaks to me, I'll buy it. But yeah, every day you got to get up every day and get up. Betty Thompson used to say, "Get up, dress up, wake up, pray up, stay up." You know, you have to every day do that, and so that should be a song every day. You know, you so good, ain't nobody better. So you know, you got
those some great words.
Yeah,
great words, and I appreciate him saying it and him doing it, and then putting it in such a cool way. Mm-hmm. That's one thing about Prince. A lot of his songs, they just are like really cool.
They are.
The way it's like, yeah, I like that.
And they speaking to you, and then subliminally speaking to you too. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you know. So he made the series of I guess God-like music, and it was released in Europe in 3 days, and then they took it off the market. You know, they got sued and took it out. But one of his songs talks about is deliverance, and it talks about, you know, until God comes, then, you know, we don't know how to treat each other. And one of the lines he said was, remember Katrina Levy's. He just slid that in there. So he said, you know, we're not gonna treat each other right. And then he talked about, you know, that. And so he slides that thought into you while you dancing and singing. So my baby. My baby.
Your man Prince, you can put his cup in the mug in the video one more time. Folks to see.
I had this made for me. Isn't this lovely? And I got to pick the songs and the pictures. And if I was your girlfriend, that was a good one too. You know.
That's crazy.
I love this. It's my favorite cup. It don't leave my house.
So we're coming down to the last part of the show here. And during this part of the show, we ask our guests 3 final questions. And these questions are questions I ask every guest. And so I want to ask you. First question. So you are in charge of making a collaborative song, usually a duet.
Okay.
With just these two artists only. Which 2 artists are you picking to make this song?
It's easy, but it's not easy because it's gonna be Prince. But is it Prince and Bob Marley, or is it Prince and Stevie Wonder? Let me think this through. Let me tell you why it's gonna be Prince and Stevie Wonder. Because they're really good together, and they played together before. And there's some video out there of them doing each other's songs, and they riff off of each other so greatly. But also their message is the same. And I think they would probably put together one hell of a song and do one hell of a concert.
Nice. Dope. All right, next question. What is a song, album, or artist that people that know you will be surprised that you love listening to?
I don't know, because my music taste is very eclectic. So Elton John, actually, I mean, I've seen Elton John in concert. Don't sleep. If you ever get an opportunity to go see Elton John in Culture Club, damn, it's a tie. Let me think. I would say Elton John. They would be, I mean, like, I have all of his box sets, and I know all the words to a whole bunch of his songs, but that's probably it.
Elton John's got soul, I tell you.
Elton John is dope. He really is. And he's a great performer. He is great at what he does.
Now, last question. I don't know if this is gonna be hard or easy for you. Last question is: you have tickets to one concert, and it's in the environment or form that it'll be best for you to enjoy the concert. You can go see any one artist you want to see, dead or alive. Who are you going to go see?
Other than Prince, okay. Let's just act like he ain't in the equation.
Fine.
Because my second one would have been Bob Marley. I'm like, so nice. I've seen his concerts. You know, I have VHSs and DVDs. They have those still of his concerts, and and when you watch him, and he is so totally ingrained into his music. Like he is, so the way he dances, the way he sings it, like it's coming from his soul and his spirit. And I'm a lyricist, but again, I am head cheerleader of all things good and righteous. And when you feel something in your spirit, and that's what I like about all three of these artists that are my favorite artists, is that it's in their spirit and it exudes when they perform. That's the one person I wish I had have seen in person, because I've already seen the other.
Nice. Well, Shonte, I really appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me. I feel so honored. You a legend too. Let's not sleep on Ted Gatlin now.
Man,
no, he in the little political world. He does his thorough thizzle. He's very sought after. Let's just go ahead and call it who it is. Like, thank you very much for thinking I'm somebody too, because you are. I feel privileged right now. Look at me.
Well, I'm privileged you were on the show, and I just want to see, do you have anything you want to say to our listeners and our people that's watching? Just as kind of a final note.
Two things. Let's get some love in our hearts. Let's get some compassion and some love in our hearts, and let's start looking at one another through the lens of love and through the lens of what if that were me in a certain situation, and stop being so damn judgy. The other thing is that we need you to remember that through this situation where we in a house, there's some elections coming up, and there are serious, very important elections coming up. And don't vote for just the person because you ain't get a chance to see everybody else, or don't vote or don't not vote because we're in this situation. Now, while y'all in the crib, y'all got plenty of time to study all of the candidates, get to know them. You might want to give them a call. They probably not doing nothing anyway. Give them a call and say, hey, what's your agenda? How are you gonna help me? What are you gonna do for me? And do that, and demand that they speak to your needs. Demand that they have a plan for your community, that we're not just picking people just because we want to pick them, or because the names sound familiar, or because, oh yeah, well, they ain't did nothing bad. No, look at your community and look at yourself and say, are we going to be better off in 4 years or 2 years or however many years each election time is? Are we going to be better off because of this person? And if the answer is no, go to the next person. Go to the next person. And I have picked candidates that maybe not have been what the public would want it, but I picked based upon my belief that they're going to actually do what they say they're going to do. And they're going to do it, not just be it, that they're going to do it. So spend this time really researching these candidates and voting absentee if you need to. You need to call us, me and Ted, and we'll tell you how to vote absentee. But spend this time and really utilize your right to vote, because if you don't, and complete your census, by the way, too, because if you don't, then what you're saying is what y'all give me is okay because you didn't vote for it. My name is Shonte Young, and I approve this message.
Yo, Shonte, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
For having me.
So everyone, like I said, this is Life on Wax with your boy Ted Jr. We had the great Shonte Harmon-Young on the show today. If you want to
wait, one more thing. Are y'all watching my sitcom? Or Ted, are you watching my sitcom? You're not watching my sitcom. So we're bored in the house, and me and my family on CNS Faux Life. We're doing we just doing like Family Matters kind of thing. We're doing cool little sitcoms on our YouTube channel.
Okay.
I'll post the link later.
Well,
it's fun, it's wholesome, and it's an opportunity for people to like go back in the 80s and laugh about the crazy things that you do.
Go ahead and shout your YouTube channel.
Oh, it's CNS Faux Life, the number 4 LYFE. And Cornell and I have cooking videos, and we got other videos on there. But being quarantined, I had a family meeting. We had family meetings in my house. So we had a family meeting with all these grown people, and we were like, we need to be creative, you know, and let's be creative. So my boy did a TikTok with the Family Matters intro song, and we did it. And then somebody said, we're in the first episode. And I was like, we should do a show. And so it's about 10 minutes long on our YouTube channel, you know, different things like, you know, back in the 80s when the Cosby Show and Family Matters and all of that. And so it kind of goes along that line. But, you know, watch it. And matter of fact, while y'all at home, record y'all one too. And get to know your family and have some, you know, family time. Okay, thank you.
Sounds good to me. I love it. I love it. So thank y'all for listening. Remember, you can always check out previous episodes on Spotify. Just look for Life on Wax with Ted Jr. Also, you can check out our each season's playlist on YouTube. Just look for Life on Wax and look for the playlist. Thank y'all so much for listening. Have a good rest of the day.
Wow.